Good morning, everybody. Coach Armando Powerhouse Torres here. This morning it's my pleasing pleasure to welcome everybody to this call. We have phenomenal training with an amazing leader and coach. I want you guys to you really, pay close attention today. Take out your notebooks, get your pen and paper ready, because you're in for an amazing treat. This gentleman has been in the business for a minute and a day. I mean, just a long time. Really has done an amazing job in building nice organizations. I mean, into the thousands, and really has done a phenomenal job in multiple organizations. And today he's running with us. He's really in charge of the commercial energy side of what we're doing here at the Powerhouse Real Estate Network with Friend Energy. That division is doing a great job putting together teams. Really understands how to train and how to put the right pieces together, the right systems together. So I want you guys to pay close attention to what he's saying. Take copious notes. And right away, as soon as this call is done, I want you to hang up and go to work, take action on everything that he teaches, because, again, guys, the action is really where the rubber hits the road, and that's where the money's at. So, guys, without further ado, it was my pleasure to introduce to you guys Coach Kelly Atkinson. Kelly, are you on the line, sir?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Your call, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before I get started, I just want to give it back up to Mr. Armando Torres, who an excellent mentor. Met him a couple of years ago at a different business venture. We became friends, and now we're probably lifelong partners. But a very successful person, as everyone on this call knows. I look up to him a lot. I appreciate him, and I'm really excited about the Powerhouse Real Estate Network and everything it has to offer. I'm definitely sold out about it and happy to be a part of it. So, good morning, everyone. Today is January 12th, just 12 days into the new year. And what I want to talk about today is time management. And you're probably going to hear a couple of things you never really heard before about time management. But at the end of this call, what I'm hoping is you will have the nuggets that you need to really do time management and what time management really is. Because most people, when they hear time management, they think of their calendar. They think that's time management. I got to work off the calendar. I got to have everything near. It's got to be that. But this is what I will share with you. Let's think about this for a quick second. Everybody starts with 24 hours in a day. And at the stroke of midnight, those 24 hours are gone, and you get another 24 hours to run the next day. And we all get that. The rich and the poor, the successful, the unsuccessful, the folks that are struggling, the folks that are having enormous success. Everybody gets 24 hours in a day. Everybody gets it. So if it's 24 hours in a day and everybody gets 24 hours, then how is it really time management? Because it should be as simple as we're saying it's just managing time and putting it on your calendar and doing that. Then that would mean anybody can get a calendar. Anybody can put stuff on their calendar and magnify how much time they have or have more success. But we know it doesn't happen like that. So I'm going to change your thinking just a little bit, just twist it a little bit to say time management is really activity management. You don't manage the time. Because whether you do something or don't do something, the clock is running. You have no control over it. But when we hear time management, we're always thinking of the clock. We're always thinking of a calendar. That's what immediately pops in our mind because that's what we've been taught. But you have no control over the time. You have absolutely no control over the time. It's going to run. You don't think it's going to run? How many people have ever overslept? You don't have no insight into say, well, my time shouldn't start until, whatever time my alarm clock is set for. It'd be nice if we could say our 24 hours started at 6 a.m. when the alarm went off. You call your friend and say, hey, where you at? He say, I'm 4 hours in my day. You say, I'm just started my first 24. No, the time is running. What I will say to you, someone's joined the call. I'm asking you just to put your phone on mute. There should be a mute button on your phone. I appreciate it. But what I will say to you, this is what we know about successful people. If you want to be highly competent, if you want to be an expert in your profession, to do these things, you do have to manage your time. Now, here's the kicker. You don't manage your time with the calendar. That's the foundation for your time. You actually manage your time with the to-do list. Everybody should have a to-do list. Let me tell you the important things about a to-do list so that we really get. On that to-do list, each day should be the activities that you have to do. What do you have to get accomplished today? What do you need to do? And all of those activities need to be listed by priority. What is the number one thing I got to do today? What is the number two thing I got to do today? What is the number three? I don't care if you got 10 things you have to accomplish that day. That's got to be your priority list. Devoid of time. Take time out. We got to get to where our focus is, where we're focused on our activities. And in that 24-day period, we are only doing things we need to do to be successful in our business, successful in our lives, successful with our families. Whatever your focus is, you might have a day where you're doing nothing but working on business. Let's make sure you're doing the first things first. And if that day closes out and you still got stuff on your to-do list that you didn't get to, that's okay. Because you will have accomplished the most important things that need to get done. And what you will find out when you talk to successful people about, if you ever see these interviews with anyone that's successful, I don't care what field they're in. I don't care if they're in entertainment, and I'm talking about like the Will Smiths of the world, the very successful people. I don't care if they're in finance, if you talk to Bill Gates, if you talk to all these people, one of the things that you hear is you sit back and you say, wow, they seem to do so much in a day. They're constantly busy. And I remember a while ago I was on a call with Stormy Wellington, very well-known, network marketer professional. And I remember on this call she said, the difference between me and you is I do 2, 3, sometimes 4 days worth of work in one day. And I remember her saying that, and I was like, wow. I didn't understand how she did that at the time when I heard that. But now I get it. Now I got it. She said that's the only difference. So her production is 4 times as much as your production because she's doing 4 times as much stuff. But you have to learn how to condense your time, condense your days into days. And how you do that is not by the calendar. It's not by the clock, because the clock is going to run. It's by the activity. It's by the activity. Make that to-do list. Every night you should have your to-do list out before you go to bed. You should be writing a new, because things happen throughout the day. So even if you try to do a weekly to-do list, each day you got to go in at the end of the day and say, hey, what do I need to do tomorrow? And the first time you write the list, it may be just on scrap paper. Let me write down everything I got to do tomorrow. And you get that brain dump, right? You want to brain dump that on a piece of paper. Now you got 10, 11, maybe 8 things you have to do tomorrow. Okay, now let me prioritize these 10 things. And now you put them in the order of importance that they have to be done. Now that's your official to-do list for the next day. And this is where the rubber meets the road. The very successful people phase out everything else and focus on their to-do list daily. That becomes their daily habit. Their daily habit. Their daily habit is the night before I take the time to write out my to-do list twice. Once just doing the brain dump, getting out everything I need to do tomorrow, everything I need to accomplish. Wow. Taking a deep breath after I got everything down because I don't want to miss anything. That's why you don't want to try to prioritize first. Just brain dump. Get it out. Got to get this tomorrow. Now, take a deep breath, whatever you got to do, maybe a cup of coffee, come back, look at your to-do list and say, let me prioritize this list because I want to make sure I'm doing the most important things first. And now you prioritize that list. Now that's your rock-solid to-do list. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you got to do is pull out that to-do list. Look over that list. A lot of people get up in the morning, do some sort of prayer, meditation, whatever you do, workout, whatever you do. All that's on your list. It's built in there. But there's a start time of when you're doing that. And now you're operating off your to-do list. You still need your calendar, right? Your calendar is just another tool, but you may have some appointments you got to keep and all that. So you want to combine the two. You want to condense them, but you're working off that to-do list because everything on your and the reason why you can't work off the calendar is everything on your to-do list is not going to be on the calendar. Just the way calendars are set up, you're going to have appointments and this and that, but it may be some. It may even be on one day, it may be some personal development. You might say, wow, I keep missing the boat doing this particular activity. On Thursday morning, I'm dedicating an hour, 2 hours to personal development. I'm going to watch some videos on this particular activity. Maybe it's follow-up you're struggling with. Maybe it's approaching people, whatever it is in your business that you need to. So that may be on the to-do list. These 2 hours, I'm locking it in. This is what I'm doing. I'm not going to take a call from someone. I'm not even going to take it. This is when the rubber meets the road. I'm not even going to take a prospecting call in this 2 hour period. Because if you want to get great, you got to get good. And you'll see, if you get good at making that list and working off that list, you're going to see everything change around you. You'll start getting more things done. I've experienced this, and I would imagine everybody on this call has experienced this. You go to bed that night, you got 4 or 5 things that's very important that you got to knock out, and it's one of those days because we all do it, right, when we say, hey, tomorrow, getting up, I got this, this, and this. I'm not playing, right? That's our turn. I'm not playing. I'm knocking out these 4 things. And you get up and you get out and you start your day and you go and you, boom, you knock out the first thing. Boom, you knock out the second thing. Boom, and the way the times run, you knock out the third and fourth thing. And you sit back and now you get back in your car and you're like, wow, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I got this, and this done. And you feel so good and so pumped up that you almost want to celebrate. I know I did that like a week and a half ago. I had all these things to do. I got up. I said, no, I'm not letting anything distract me. Do what I got to do, getting on the road. Got up, did my normal morning routine, what I do, had my coffee, did my thing, my little meditation. Straight. I was out the door. By 11:30, I had knocked off probably 4 or 5 things that were important. I knew I needed to get done that day. I felt so good, right? What could I do? I rewarded myself. I said, wow, usually I would have lunch. It would be 30 minutes, lunch on the run, or maybe sitting at home. Hey, I'm going to go to my favorite diner and have lunch. Why? Because you see, when you start accomplishing things on your to-do list, your endorphins kick in. Man, you're going to get so motivated. That's the other thing about having that to-do list. When you checking stuff off, man, it's a rush. It's power in itself. It's going to take you, you're like, oh, wow, got that done, got that done, got that done. You're going to get energy, and you start talking about condensing your day, like the super successful people talk about condensing their day. They can do that because you're on a natural high throughout the day. You're on a natural high. Why? I'm working off the to-do list. I'm not allowing any distractions. I'm not going to even peep at Sports Center. I don't care about the news. I got to do this. I got to do these 10 things today. And I got to do them in this order. And if I do it in this order, it's going to open up abundance for me in so many other areas. And that's the importance. That's real time management. Time management is really activity management, which is really prioritizing everything you have to do daily. It's prioritizing everything. We have so many time wasters and time stealers and things that happen throughout the day where, where it's lose 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, or a friend will call that we haven't spoke to, in a while. And we end up, we say, all right, we might know we have some stuff to do, but I ain't spoke to this person in a while. Well, let me get on the phone and be on the phone for 10 or 15 minutes. How many people have been on the phone for 30 minutes? Or, ouch, an hour. You hang up and it's an hour. And now you're trying to jump back into your day. That's what happens. That's what happens. But real-time management, real activity management is also having the laser-like focus. So you have to have the winner's attitude. You have to understand that this is what I need to be doing to have success. These are the things I have to do. And it may be for that day, it may be a combination of work things and personal things, a combination of work things and family things. But this is the list. This is the list. This is what I'm living off of, and I'm going to go through. And if you practice that method and do that, you'll see what happens is over time, you start getting good at it. And now you're going to say, wow, you know what? I'm used to putting only 5 things on my list, but I done got good at this. I can do 7 things. I can do 8 things. I can do 10 things. Hey, I can do 24 things. I could be knocking out something every hour. You know, you talk to some people and they say they don't waste a minute. They have their day managed down to the minute. They do not waste a minute. If they got to make calls, their to-do list, and it's about really owning it. Their to-do list doesn't say, hey, call Michael. So now it's on the list and somebody said, yeah, when I get a chance, it's going to call Michael. No, it says call Michael at 10:15 to 10:30. Being that specific. I'm calling Michael. It's a follow-up call. This is only going to be 15 minutes. We're not going to get into any philosophical discussions. We're not going to get into the history of the business and all that. It's a follow-up. We need a decision. Call Michael. It's 15 minutes on the calendar. At 10:30, 15 minutes on my to-do. At 10:30, that call is over. So I got 2 to 3 minutes for salutation. Hey, how you doing? Good talking to you again. That should be 60 seconds into your conversation. Then we flip it and we're going right into the follow-up. And he's got 7 minutes to make a decision in that call. Why? Because we should be doing a 3-way. And we're getting that 3-way in. We're not going to go off on a tangent. Sometimes we get time wasters with people. We're trying to do the business. We get on a call with them, and what happens? They drag us all over the place. We end up going down a proverbial rat hole. So what I'm going to ask all you guys to do is an exercise, and you can do this. There's a couple ways you get good at this. One, you do need a calendar. That's your foundation. But you also need a to-do list. And whether you're going to write it, whether you're going to type it, there's a bunch of templates online. You can go on the Word. There's a to-do list. However you want to do it, because everybody's different. So I'm not going to say use this, but I'm going to tell you need a calendar. You need a to-do list. The most important thing is your to-do list. One of the things, if you're a person that heavily uses your calendar, you need to print out your calendar. Don't look at it. I'm going to say it. Print it out. Print out the daily view of your calendar. See what's on there, and just evaluate it. Do an analysis of your calendar. See how many time wasters are on your calendar. See how much stuff you got on there that you're doing that really doesn't help you. Because everybody on this call, this is a winner's call. This is a champion's call. Everybody on this call is focused about growing their business, personal development, and doing something that's going to change the lives of their family. That's why you're on this call. And you're taking advantage of, all or some of the products within the Powerhouse Real Estate Network. That's why you're on this call. So if you're going to do that, then we got to get serious. We got to kind of focus in. Your future is depending on you. Your future is waiting for you to come step into it. So take a look at some of the things you're doing. Maybe you're a person that doesn't use the calendar a lot. You have it for appointments or whatever, but that's not how you operate. We all operate differently. I'm going to tell you, you got to get a to-do list. You got to get a to-do list. Our activities have to be intentional because success is intentional. Success is not accidental. Success is intentional. Our activities have to be intentional. Our thoughts have to be intentional. The way we go about our business has to be intentional. You get good at managing your day. You get good at working out your to-do list. You get good at accomplishing things. People will see that. And what will happen is you will become a magnet. It's called the law of attraction. You become a magnet. People start drawing themselves to you. Because they'll be like, wow, David, you do a lot of things. I talk to you, you're doing this, you're doing that. And they see it all positive. People don't want to see all partying things. We can all do that. There's a time and a place for that. And leisure time should be on your to-do list, too. You're going to have some days when you're going to have leisure time on it. So we got to be well balanced. The bottom line is we have to be working off that to-do list. And it has to be prioritized. And we got to be in our mindset, this is what I do. Unless an emergency pops up today that makes me have to deviate from my to-do list, I know I'm going to have the most success when I'm doing everything that's on my to-do list for today. And I'm doing them in order. If something is number 10 on your list, your day shouldn't end. You got 6 things done, but number 10 is done. Because it wasn't that important. You missed it. That wasn't that important. That 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes you spent time on doing number 10, you could have did something more important. You could have did number 7. You could have put that time in the number 7, which is more important. Because what you'll see is when you make out that list and put the priorities things together, the things at the bottom of the priority, maybe they don't have to be done that day. Maybe they can go the next day. And you might have something at the bottom of your to-do list for 3 or 4 days in a row. Because as we do things, other things happen, and they create other activity and actions that's needed. And we're just saying, hey, okay, new list for tomorrow. Make my list for tomorrow. Maybe you run into some great prospects. So your to-do list for tomorrow changes, but you got to deal with those great prospects. The bottom line is having that list together and knowing this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what some of them are going to be time dependent, right? Some of them is, hey, maybe there's an 8 o'clock appointment that's very important. It's on that to-do list. Today's training was on my to-do list, right? It's very important. It's on my to-do list. There's only a couple things I could do before this training because I had to be prepared at 11:30. So there's no interference. There's only success. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. We're at the 30-minute mark, so I'm just going to wind down a little bit, but saying you have control over your time. Everybody gets 24 hours in a day. Is what you do within that time, that's the difference. That's why the super successful people seem like, wow, they do so many things. Why? They do what needs to be done in order to be successful. And to get more things in, everybody on this call has heard the law of numbers, right? The law of numbers. Well, the law of numbers also applies to how much you can do in a day. The more you can get accomplished in a day, the more you're going to have done, the more successful you'll become. So it works the same way. But those super successful people, yeah, they do this. Why? Because they're not wasting a minute. They're not wasting a minute. They're not wasting a minute. A lot of us do calls. We do follow-up calls. We do cold calls. We do all that. How many of you are holding those calls to a particular time? And have perfected your skill that you can say, hey, this type of call is 10 minutes, but this is all I want to talk about on this call. This type of call is 15 minutes. This type of call maybe it's 20 minutes. Why? Think about how many more calls you'll get in if you just perfect that skill. If you just perfect that skill. It's on the to-do list. All right, I got an hour. I'm making 4 10-minute calls, saving myself 20 minutes for anything that flares over. Or I'm making 5 10-minute calls, saving myself 10 minutes for anything that may flare over, or somebody say, hey, call me back in 5 minutes. What if you book 5 10-minute calls in an hour and just stuck with it? Let it go down the rat hole. Powerful, powerful concept. So time management is what you do in the time. It's about you taking full control of the time, compressing it, and getting more out of your 24-hour day. And everybody has the capability to do it because the super successful do it every day. So my name is Kelly Atkinson. I want to thank you guys for your participation and listening today. I thank you, Coach Torres, for allowing me this opportunity to speak to the team today.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Unbelievable training. Thank you very, very much, man. I tell you what, I am jacked up, fired up. Now I got some rocket fuel in me to take on my day. Listen, Kelly, you hit the nail on the head, brother. That's exactly what it's all about here. You know, the super successful people, absolutely, you know, they have the same amount of hours as everybody else. Man, I love that quote that you said that, but I already posted it up on Facebook because I mean, it's just amazing. It says time management, forget time management, it's activity management. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thank you so much for that training, for that coaching. I'm going to open the floor for anybody who may have any questions, comments, or concerns. Unbelievable, guys. I appreciate this. Amazing talent here. Thank you very much. The floor is open, guys. Anybody wants to jump out and say?
Yeah, my name is Johan Chaviano from the Miami team. I wanted to speak on behalf of the Miami team. I got Ariel and Adrian Valdez here in the office, as well as with two lovely ladies here. Kelly, man, that was a phenomenal training this morning. Thank you for keeping us on track and making sure we're conscious of our daily activities and using our day the right way. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're fired up. We're fired up over here.
That's excellent, man, and I'm happy to see you back in the game. We met. I remember you. We met. We met a while ago.
Yes, sir. In your hometown.
North Central Power. Yep, absolutely. So I'm glad to see you. I saw the announcement you was back on board. Happy to have you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Kelly, thank you. That was wonderful. I remember you did a training before that I attended. I learned a lot. I relearned things. And again, you know, it's never a bad thing to hear information more than once because I got something more out of it. Thank you. I will be applying this. I need to apply this. So really, really great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Let's get ready to rock and roll today. Get fired up. Get exactly the nuggets of today. What Kelly just said, just put it into action. Don't just put it in a notebook and hide it away someplace. Put it into action today. Right away, take out paper and pencil. Write down your income-producing activities. I always talk about that. IPAs, make sure you do your activities. Write it down. Manage your day with your activities. That's the beauty. I love that, man. I love that. So, guys, get ready to rock and roll. This is your day. We're Powerhouse. It is your time. You guys are all Powerhouse. Fired up. Let's make it happen. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye now.